Welcome back, team. Welcome back to day 2 of our virtual learning. I'm your host, Mr. Hernandez, and today we're going to be kicking off our new unit called Cookies. Cookies is a unit that involves linear systems of equations and inequalities. What's a system of equations and what's an inequality? Well, we're going to unpack that throughout this entire unit. Today, you actually have 3 learning objectives. Some of you may hit them all, others may take a little bit longer, and that's okay. The first one that we have is that I can determine maximum profit. What is profit? We'll get into that in just a second. Number 2, I can create an equation or an inequality. This one may be a little bit hard for you today, but we'll get there in no time, hopefully by tomorrow. And the third one is you can justify profits. Justify profits. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by justifying a profit? Well, before we get into how you can achieve these objectives, let's go down to our Google Classroom, click the link that says ARHS Math, and you'll be able to see what I'm looking at. When you're in Google Classroom and you find the link that says ARHS Math, it'll pull you to a website that looks something like this. On this site, you'll be able to go ahead and click our link over here that says Integrated Math 1. Some of this may look familiar because we have the Overland Trail, Pit and the Pendulum, and Shadows. And so for today, we'll be starting on our new unit called Cookies. When you click the Cookies link, it'll take you to our subpage titled Cookies. And you'll see chocolate chip cookies in the background, you'll see them up here in the front, and you'll see a bunch of these different PDFs. The first PDF that you experience is actually our entire unit. It's the unit in the same textbook that we use in class, and you'll see that it starts from the very first page, which in our book is page 342, and it'll finish all the way at the very end, 78 pages later, at page 418. We'll get to all of this stuff in no time. Down here, you'll notice that I have 4 different sections. That's just me breaking up the actual unit into 4 different parts to chunk it out for you a little bit, to make it a little bit easier to focus on. For today, what you're going to need to do is click this Cookies first PDF, or you can go to section 1, click the pop-out button up here, and it'll take you to a brand new tab that says Cookies Book Complete.pdf. We're going to be using this for today and for your first homework assignment. And for that, I just want to read it out loud to you so that way you can see what we're doing. Cookies and inequalities. The central problem of this unit involves helping a bakery to maximize its profits. The problem is complex. First, you will organize all of the information and express the bakery's situation in algebraic terms using linear inequalities and linear expressions. This first objective I think profit has to do with the bakery that we're going to be talking about and baking some cookies. The inequalities and equations I'm still a little confused on, but we'll get there in just a second. And justify profits. There must be different ways to find the profit of cookies, but I think we have to go back into the book to figure that out. If we go to the second page, you'll actually see your first assignment. It says, how many of each kind? Here, I'm going to read out loud the activity, the assignment, and you'll be able to go do it and complete it on your own. It says, Abby and Bing Wu own a small bakery that specializes in cookies. They make only 2 kinds of cookies, plain and iced. They know they need to decide how many dozens of each kind of cookie to make for tomorrow. The Woos know that each dozen plain cookies requires 1 pound of cookie dough and no icing. Each dozen iced cookies requires 0.7 pound of cookie dough and 0.4 pound of icing. They also know that each dozen plain cookies requires about 0.1 hour of preparation time. Each dozen iced cookies requires about 0.15 hour of preparation time. Finally, they know that no matter how many of each kind they make, they will sell them all. 3 factors limit the Wu's decision. Remember, factors here is a fancy word to say constraints. They have to follow some constraints. The ingredients available. They have 110 pounds of cookie dough and 32 pounds of icing. The oven space available. They have room to make a total of 140 dozen cookies. The preparation time available. Together, they have 15 hours for cookie preparation. Why on earth should the Wus care about how many cookies of each kind they make? Well, you guessed it. They want to make as much profit as possible. Plain cookies sell for $6 a dozen and cost $4.50 a dozen to make. Iced cookies sell for $7 a dozen and cost $5 a dozen to make. The big question is, how many dozens of each kind of cookie should Abby and Bing make so their profit is as high as possible? Begin to answer this question. Find one combination of dozen plain cookies and dozen iced cookies that will satisfy all of the conditions. Once again, conditions, another word for constraints, in the problem. Figure out how much profit the Wus will make on that combination of cookies. Part 2 is find a different combination that gives you a greater profit. That's your objective for today. You will be in charge of actually determining how much profit would Abby and Bing Wu receive if they made a certain combination of cookies. That's a little bit tricky, and so hopefully this table below helps you through that. You can go ahead and copy that on a separate sheet of paper, fill it out, and then give me your final result and box your answer. For those of you that forgot what profit was, let's talk a little bit. Profit is going to equal how much money you make subtracted by the total money that you spent. Some of you remember this from class. If I wanted to buy a pair of shoes and I spent $50 on them and I made them really cool and I cleaned them up and I sold them for $100, I made a $50 profit. Here you're going to figure out based off of how much money they use per dozen cookies to make and how much they earn based off of the dozen cookies, what would be their total profit. That's your assignment number 1. Assignment number 2, here in the house, I've been cooking nothing but burritos and cereal, and I'm not getting tired of it. Believe me when I say that, but I need some more ideas for stuff for me to cook. So assignment number 2 is actually going to be due today, while this assignment number 1 is going to be due on Wednesday. Assignment number 2, your job is to talk to your family. Talk to your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, uncles, aunts, whoever in your family cooks, and figure out what's your favorite family recipe. You're going to be in charge of writing that down and uploading it to me so that way I get some new ideas for stuff to cook. And who knows, maybe I'll go into the kitchen and I'll show you a live stream of me cooking one of them. Okay? Come to office hours today. We'll be talking some more about this assignment and how to organize your information. Be sure to check in so that way you get marked as present. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy learning, and I hope you reach these learning objectives. I'll see you next time.